Agud Voch Raboisai. Live from Chicago, Erev Shabbos or Moshe Shabbos, depending where you are. Shkoy have such a nice olam. 3 minyanim. It's very chashuv. Erev Shabbos like that. It's beautiful. Like a Masai. Wow, chashuv guest. Kum tzarayin. So yesterday we were in Bar Park. The Avig Default flew in. People came from all over. We had over 300 people, and it was a very, very nice evening. We were 2 days ago. We were in Baltimore, which reminds me, I have to say Mazel Tov to Fishel. He has a great, but I don't have all the information. A golden dove. The kids are another grandchild. So Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. The Olam came. Very, very nice Olam in Baltimore. Brooklyn's Brooklyn, you can't compete with Brooklyn. The total for Brooklyn, they took upon themselves to raise $250,000. So it's very nice. We'll see what happens. Be'ezer Hashem. And it was a very successful evening. So here we are. I'm only here today. Tomorrow night we have Zashir, 9:30, right? And Sunday I'm off back to Brooklyn. So I just came to spend Shabbos here with the in-laws and the mishpach and friends. So shkoyach for having me. We're not going to do any fundraisers. Don't worry. Chas v'shalom. We're here to enjoy Torah. So that's pretty much it. Then I guess there's Wednesday or Thursday. I'm going back to Israel. So it's about trying to get people to pledge money to. Why do we need money? We're trying to grow the organization. We're trying to bring more people to Torah, change people's lives. It really changes people's lives. I get the emails every single day. People come over to me all the time. So I know it changed my life. I know it changed many people's lives in this room that came over to me and told me in the past. So we want to bring more Yidden. More Yidden. Was is das? Is that mine?
Sounds like it's coming from your computer, possibly. Maybe?
No, it's not my computer. Okay. It's all the way. We found it. We're going to skip the emails today. It's Erev Shabbos. We're going to go straight to just a few sponsors. The Masechta is sponsored by Anonymous for the safe and speedy return for all the hostages. Parnas Achodesh, Rafur Shlema, for Elimlech, Ben Tzipora, Rafur Shlema. Parnas Achodesh, nishmas, Akiva Simcha Ben Feiga, Chaya Bas Yosef. Parnas Achodesh, renewed. Ahron Fraiman, zechus. To Reb Eli for continuing siyadta dishmaya and teaching Torah to Klal Yisroel. Thank you, Ahron Fraiman. Leilui nishmas, Larisa Chaya bat Boruch. Art of the month, anonymous for zechus, for an easy childbirth, his daughter, and a healthy baby. So we have a Gevaldik daf today, very, very interesting daf. Yesterday, we learned the Mishnah that describes what Aveda is. If you see a cow grazing on the side of the road, you have that in the Tzafon up north. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to be there for half a year or so. I once heard that the reason why there's so many cows up there is that the army wanted cows to graze, and if there's like a mokesh, how do you say mokesh in English? A landmine. We'd rather that cow blow up than a human being. Like they didn't want to spend all that money looking around, so they just let these cows go. But when you go up there, you'll see the cows. That's normal. To have a cow in a vineyard, the Mishnah says that's not normal. So over here we have, let's see. A cow running through the vineyard is two things are wrong over here. Basically, it's going to destroy the vineyard. It's going to destroy itself. A cow grazing in the vineyard, it's not going to destroy someone. It could destroy itself, but it's destroying the vineyard. You see over here, you have grapes on the side. Cow running in the street. So over here, in case you don't know what it looks like, stam, cow in the street. Those things are not as slow as you think. Bekitzer. So what we're going to do is we're going to see that there's an in-between case, and we're going to try to find a raya. What do we do with this in-between case? So it says the Gemara like this. That's later on. But before, I have a question for the Olam. Interesting shayla. Bezdin paskins on a certain person that he's chayiv misa. Let's use Michal Shabbos. It's chayiv misa. That's it. They're about to take him out. The guy makes a run for it, jumps over the porch, jumps down 2 floors, and starts running. Are you allowed to shoot him in the back? He's chayiv misa. They're going to throw him. They're going to give him skila soon. They're about to take him away to be niska. Yes or no? Anything?
It's not the process.
It's not the process, but he just ran away. He's chayiv misa. Anybody? Anybody say yes? Only knows, huh?
I mean, he jumped off the roof. That's skill is.
No, you got to be pushed off the roof on your head. Not jumping
Tied up.
out. Huh? We are Daf Aleph today. We're on the bottom of Lamed. So as you're going to see in the Gemara, I knew I should ask you that because the answer is you could shoot him. It's chayiv misa, you could shoot him. What? By the way, I got to tell you the rule. You can only ask one question. So you want to use it up now?
No.
Oh, okay, good. He doesn't want to use it now. There's one left. Keeping tabs. So the Mishnah describes this cow that went and came. There's only one type of Aveda. What about all the Avedas that we learned in Eli Metzias? A, B, what kind of Avedas do we learn in Eli Metzias? No, types.
Oh,
A bike. What did the Mishnah talk about? We had money, we had a wallet, we had all sorts of things. Also, the Mishnah says, "Oh, this is an aveda, a cow that's grazing, that's running through a vineyard." And what about all the other ones? This is what the Mishnah means. I have a rule. This is the rule. He found an ox, a cow, just grazing on the way. That's not considered an aveda. If the donkey is upside down, like we had yesterday, the picture, part of it, or this cow that's running through the vineyard, as so. This is a rule. In other words, this is different. This is not the norm. This is considered. If you pay attention to the whole parak, we have to emphasize this. The Torah is very machshiv other people's money, and to the point where you have to sometimes go out of your comfort zone. You have to lose your own parnasa. You have to help other people save their belongings. There's a chiyuv. Question, stop, think about it. How's it going to get to us? The guy's stuck in the snow with a car. Are you mechuyev to get out and push his car? Question, anybody? If a person is stuck with a donkey, you mechuyev to help him with the donkey?
Yes.
It's a mefurish pasuk. So are you mechuyev to help him with the car? Yeah. And what if he doesn't want to push? He's lazy. He wants to be inside in the driver's seat and do the steering wheel thing. You mechuyev to help him? Yes, you mechuyev to help him. What he does, what?
Someone has to do that piece.
That is true. Somebody does have to do that piece, and also we don't care so much about. Yeah, we don't care that much about what the guy does and what he doesn't do. It's your chiyuv. You have to chop around mitzvahs, and it's your problem, not his. So says the Gemara, that's considered, since it's different than usual. He's running through the vineyard. He's going to destroy the whole vineyard. You can imagine people spend a lot of money on the vineyard, a lot of time. It could be hundreds of years old, and this cow out of control is just running through the vineyard. That's considered a shavas aveda. You're mechuyev to take care of the situation. Ask the Gemara, what if you see a cow on the side of the road? You're not mechuyev to return it. What if it's there for a month? You see it there every single day. Never went home. It's still not an aveda. Ula olam, forever. You have 3 days. Ask the Gemara, what do you mean? If you saw that 3 nights, 2 in the morning, you see a cow there. It's a little strange, right? So even if this is the first time you saw it, it's lost. It should be in the barn at 2 in the morning. You see it in the middle of the day. So then 10 days in a row also, it's not an aveda. Says the Gemara, you saw it like Vasikan time. You saw it like Shkia time. Plus the Yoim I'm reading this room is Ramilov and Afghan. It's a little strange, but not 100% strange. They usually don't come out that early, don't go that late. But 3 days, it's possible something happened there. More than that, it's already an Aveda. Reb Chaim Brisker said, if it's 3 days, you have an excuse. So how come not 3.5 days also? What happened to your excuse? You have a reason. So he said, it's a very, very stark line. He said, it's better to have 1 teretz than 3 terutzim. In other words, when a person says, I couldn't come today to the daf. Why? I had an appointment. Okay. The second day, he's like, I had a chasana, and my stomach was hurting. So it's better, rather than say 3 different excuses, it's 1 excuse. You don't want to learn. That's it. It's one. It's better just to say 1 thing. It's not Aveda. It is Aveda. Don't say, oh, maybe 4 times it forgot and it this and that. That we don't say. Says Gemara Tanya Amachi, we see a similar thing. Find a beged. You find an axe, visratio in a street. You see strange things happening. You see a cow running right through a vineyard, running, not walking, grazing, running. I raised to Aveda, this is considered Aveda. But what if you see a garment next to a wall? It sort of has a shmira to it. The axe is by a wall. Now this is a little bit different. It's not running. It's relaxed. It's eating. That's not an Aveda. See it 3 days. One after another, that's considered an Aveda. So we see this idea of 3 days. You see water overflowing, coming towards your friend's field. Our boys say, this is Nagia to us. In our daily lives, we have these situations. Now, we don't have water coming to your friend's backyard. That could also happen. But you have other situations. I don't know, let's say you see your friend left his light on in the car. Do you have a chiyuv to tell him? Should you climb up the stairs? Trouble yourself? There's an idea in the Torah that tells us that when your friend is losing money, you have a chiyuv to step in and help. As I state, water is coming towards your friend's field. Here we have a picture actually. It's towards your friend's field, so you have to put sand bags, whatever you have to do. You have to make sure that the water doesn't come in. Fine. Says the Gemara, another chiddush. This is a continuation. Any type of aveda, including non-movable objects like karka. I'll prove it to you. Isn't that similar to what we just said? That if you see water coming towards the field, you have to stop it. You have to prevent it. That's not a great right to me. There's metaltalin over there. So maybe that's why you have to stop it. You have to prevent the damage to the metaltalin, to the bundles of wheat. So what's the chiddush? You have what are they called? The haystacks that are needy, or whatever this hay is that needs the ground. Whatever it is, I don't think it's attached, but let's say it is. It's detached, needs the ground. Let's say that's the case. Since it's needy to the karka, it's considered karka. Nevertheless, you have to take care of it. Says the Gemara, let's understand the middle case. So let's see what we have here. You see a chamor, you see a cow just grazing, baderech. So this is 2 pluses. It's minding its own. It's not running. When it runs, it could damage itself. Its body gets damaged. When it's in a vineyard, it damages itself. There's a lot of thorns and stuff. Fine. That's not what happened there. What happened there is it has two pluses. It's on the way, it's on the side of the road, and it's docile, it's eating normally. Gemara says, okay, so now we have to infer. This is the classic, right? You can infer one thing one way from the Reisha and the opposite way from the Sefer. It's only because it's grazing. What if here it's running? No, baderech. What if it's the middle case? It's running on the side of the road, like that cow that was running between the cars. Veroya is very dangerous for the cow. Or it's just grazing peacefully in the vineyard. Have Avedas. Mashma, that is considered Avedas. It's only because it's very docile on the side of the road. But once it's running, it's considered Avedas. And therefore, let's be medayik from the Sefer. The last two times we had one yesterday, the few days before, when we have a dig from the Reisha and a dig from the Sefer, and they contradict each other. So the last two times we said, okay, so you can't be medayik anything. But now we're going to say something else. What do you see from the Sefer? From the Sefer. When it's on the extreme, the donkey's upside down, everything's flipped over. Not the donkey, but the things it's carrying is upside down. And this is the worst case scenario. You have a cow running through the vineyard. But if it was just running not in the vineyard, on the side of the road, then it's not an Aveda. And if it was just running through the kram, then it's an Aveda. But if it was Gaza was standing still in the vineyard, ain't zo Aveda. So we have two contradictory diyukim. No, it's not a contradiction. Yagidol of Reyoi. We can learn one from the other. Now what? Tana Roya B'derech D'Lehav Aveda B'Wadin LaRoya Ben Akram. The Tana is just teaching us that if it's grazing on the side of the road, that's an Aveda. But you should know that if it's grazing in the vineyard, it's also not an Aveda. So we stop right over here, Rabbi said we have a big question. What's the question? Why don't you tell me this one? This case is a much better case. Tell me if it was grazing in the vineyard, it's not an Aveda. Why are you telling me the weak one? If it's grazing on the side of the road. It would be a much bigger chiddush if it's grazing in a vineyard where it could damage. There's still damaging components over there in the vineyard. And even so, it's not an Aveda. That's the case you should tell me, the bigger chiddush. That's what the Gemara is going to ask. Only when it's running, it's out of control, it's in the vineyard, then it's an Aveda. That's one of the klalim. If it's running on the way, it's not an Aveda. Sorry, where am I? You're right. If it runs in the vineyard, it's considered Aveda, and if it runs on the side of the road, it's also an Aveda. So again, you should tell me that chiddush, that if it runs on the side of the road without any thorns sticking out, it's an Aveda, and certainly in the vineyard, it's an Aveda. Listen to Kiltov, tell me the other case, and I'll know all cases from it. Listen to Rotza Baderech. Tell me the case of running on the side of the road where it's not really so damaging. The Havi Aveda is still considered Aveda, but Kolshkin, and of course I would know Rotza Ben Akramim in the vineyard. We listen to Roy Ben Akramim, they have Aveda, Kolshkin Roy Baderech. Elo Rov as the Mshad, Rotza Lekashi. Ho, the apple Gabi Dabra, or the apple Gabi Mosul. I just had this chus of speaking to the Rosh Yeshiva of Merkaz. My son wanted to go check it out. He's thinking about going there. So the Rosh Yeshiva told me, he said, listen, we take American boys. They're different than Israeli kids. Your kid lives in Israel. So I'll tell you, the American kids, they're on an aliyah. They're looking to shtay. They're looking to grow. The Israelis, they start over here. They're at the same level right now, but it's where they're coming from. That's what he told me. It's not always like that, but it's where they're coming from. The Israeli might have a stronger background, but maybe he's on his way down now. He's starting to get a cell phone and this, he's starting to think about it. The American's already past that stage. He's already thinking about getting rid of the cell phone. But okay, so I'm just giving you a mashal. That's what the Gemara is saying over here. Not exactly that, but they might be in the same spot. But where are they heading? This animal's heading into the desert. This animal's heading back to the farm. So it's not. I met both of them in the same exact spot. They were both in the middle of the street somewhere. But one is heading home and one is heading away. So one is heading away, that's a Hashavas Haved. Ratzah Ratzah Lekash. Ho the apple he's facing Legabi Dabra to the midbar, to the wilderness. Ho the apple Legabi Masa, and this one's facing the city. Roya Roya Namili Kasha. We don't have a contradiction. Grazing and grazing can Bavid is Gufa. When we're talking about that the animal's going to cause damage to itself, you have to save the animal. Kan Bavid is Karka, you have to save the owner's vineyard. So I'm not so concerned about the animal, I'm concerned about the guy's vineyard. When I say that it's not an Aveda, Aveda is Karka. When I say that it's grazing in the vineyard, it's considered a Hashavas Aveda. Why? Because somebody's destroying somebody's vineyard and needs to stop. Aveda is Gufa. The Ratza ben Akramim misakfa. When it runs between the vineyards, it gets injured. Right? Ben Akramim loy misakfa. It just grazes in the vineyard. It's not going to injure itself from all the thorns and the vines and everything. Rabbi said, "Don't worry, we're almost done with the sugi. We're going to get into Givaldik sugi in a second." V'roi ben Akramim neither loy misakfa. And when it grazes nicely and peacefully in a vineyard, it doesn't injure itself. But at the end of the day, it's destroying the guy's vineyard. Don't you have to stop that? Says the Gemara of the Kusi. Oh, I forgot to show you this whole thing. Let me just show you this whole thing because you should work on it.
Who pays for the loss of the vineyard? Damn. Can you help Quebec find the owner of the cows?
That's Bava Kama, no?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Hold on. We don't need to see this. I thought I had Kusi over here. Oh, here, Kusi. These are the Shomranim today in Israel. They're supposedly Kusim, the real deal. They have Torah, they do Simchas Torah, they do Korban Pesach. This is Chaya and the Gemara if they get Arayos or not. Okay, you know. Wait a minute. Okay. Zok the Gemara. But David Mishum Aved is Gufa. So don't you have to save this cow? Why? Because the Dilma, you know, today in the Masimara, you go over there in Africa or whatever, in the middle of the jungle, if like a lion or something comes to attack one of them, they shoot them right away on the spot. If animals come into your territory, you could die. You know, that's how it is. Even here in America, coyote, whatever, boom. So if this cow comes into the vineyard to destroy, the farmer will come out, a nice redneck, will come out and kill the cow. So aren't you saving the cow's life? Should be a Shabbos Haveda. Says Gemara, but ask for the master of a Hodar Katli. It's a special place where they first warn the owner. They don't shoot right away, cause the guy $2,000 damage. They warn him. Says Gemara, okay. So now that you see a cow going into the vineyard, maybe it's after the warning. He's about to get a bullet. If he was warned, the owner, and he wasn't careful. Now the second time this animal goes in there, it's not your problem to take care of it. The owner should have been careful. So you caused your own damage. Hold on. So for this, we had a few interesting things. First of all, this I didn't show yesterday, but if you want to see this, Erev Shabbos. This is a honey badger. Honey badgers are very modern animals. The lion, you know about this animal? It's a Meshunadik animal. Lions can't kill it. They fight lions, they fight leopards. It has a certain thing that if it gets bit on its head, the skull moves to a different place. So like you can't bite it, you can't hurt it.
Cobras can't kill them either.
Cobras can't. Nothing. They're very vicious. They're tiny, but they're ferocious animals. Anyways, the point is here. This is what our guy did. It's a little bit off. Basically, the chiyuv of Hashavas Haveda is even 100 times. Zero Baruch, zero Baruch. Amar le'amud the Rabban on the Rava. Ema Hoshev Chodesh Zimna. The Shivim Trey Zimna. Let's see if we have it. No. Yeah, I do have it. I'm not in the mood of going back now. So it says in the pasuk Hoshev Teshivim. There's a double lashon. And this is going to invoke the entire sugya. It's Gevaldik sugya. It's going to go through all the times that the Torah, not all the times, but many times, 9, 10 times, that the Torah goes through Hoshev to Shivei to a double lashon and other psukim as well. So it says over here, Hoshev to Shivei. So the Gemara says, perhaps it means you should return it 2 times, not more than twice. Amalei Hoshev, but the mashmos of the word Hoshev, the understanding of the word means afilu meya palme mashma. Just forget about how many times the word Hoshev should constantly return to Shivei. So when it says to Shivei, you should return it to him in a normal fashion, to his house. And what if I return it to his garden? So Gemara says a major chiddush. When it comes to Hashavas Haveda, it's different than anything else. If your garden is there's a guards and a very high fence, so what's the chiddush? If it's not a watch place, why could you return somebody's bike into open garden? Says Gemara no, it is watch. Says the Gemara, there's a fence, but you don't need to notify the owner. Let's say by Gneva, for instance, you must notify the owner. I'm returning the Gneva I stole from you. You go to the candy store. You say, when I was a little kid, I stole $10 worth of candy from you, and here's the money. But you cannot slip it into the cash register and walk away. It has to be das bailam. Everything in the Torah needs the owner's yediyah, his knowledge. Besides the Because the Torah says, Hoshev to Shivaim, you learn from the extra words. What do you learn from the extra word? Hashavis Harbi, that you can return it in many different places. And now the Gemara goes on a ride through Shas, through many different halachas. Shaleach Tishalach. Where's that said? Hoshev to Shivaim. Here's Hoshev to Shivaim. Fine. Found it. Shaleach Tishalach. Ki kori kan tzipur lefanecha b'derech b'chol eitz u'or al haaretz u'froichim u'beitzim u'yiritzim al froichim al beitzim u'sikachayim al abor. Shaleach Tishalach zeh. You have a shiluach haken. Now what? If you want the eggs or the chicks, you have to send the mother away. So why does the Torah say it twice? Eima t'shalach chodazim no t'shalach trei. Now we know the Mishnah is mefurish that shiluach haken is even 100 times. If the mother keeps on coming back before you get the eggs, you got to shoot away 100 times. But it seems like shalech t'shalach twice. The word shalech, like we said by Hoshev, seems like 100 times. So what do I do with the extra word? Why does it have to say twice? Tishalach in lielo l'dvar shus. That what? If you want the chick, you want to eat it. Okay, so send the mother away. But what about the dvar mitzvah minay? What if you want the mother for a mitzvah, for a carbon or something? It doesn't matter. You have to chase the mother away. You cannot keep the mother for your mitzvah. So now again, we're going through the psukim. This is a very complicated mitzvah in nowadays because it's not so simple that you could rebuke somebody, give somebody toichacha, because most people don't listen. But assuming that you should and you could, if somebody does something wrong, maybe you should stop after 2 times. Again, it means even 100 times. Interesting. So your neighbors Michal Shabbos, you tell them once, you tell them twice, tell them 3 times. There's no end. You have to tell them 100 times. Well, why is it going to help? You didn't listen to you after 90 times. Why is it going to help? It helps. Something sinks in. The Alter Mikelim says that what the Gemara means over here is that if you have 100 things to tell your friend, he's Michal Shabbos, he's Treif, he talks in shul, whatever it is. So you don't just lay it on him in one shot. You go to him 107 times. Tell him one small thing at a time. And maybe it could be Moisef, Bizman Hazeh. They say that for every criticism, you have to give at least how many? 3. Let's be makel. You have 3 compliments. So you have to give 3 compliments, criticism. 3 compliments, criticism. It takes a long time. That's what Gemara is saying here. Afilu me'apamim. It's not that you're saying the same thing over. You're giving him different criticism in different places. You hear this? Even a Talmud, a Rebbe, a person should go ahead and give. You should be mechiach his Rebbe. If his Rebbe doesn't do the right thing, you have to give it to him in a proper way, like maybe to a father. Say it in a covetic way. What's the halach in this case? Didn't you teach us something like this and this? You give him a remez. You have to be mechiach him. You have a chiyuv. What do we have? The pasuk Yereshi Ozoiv Tazoiv. So we have 2 halachas when it comes to a donkey. One is prika, one is te'ina. Prika is to remove the load. Okay, so logically speaking, it's a lot easier for us to understand. Shalom, what's your name? Michael James. Shalom, from where? Shalom. Very nice. A guest. I'm a guest, but you're also a guest.
August.
Yeah. So there's you see your friend's donkey loaded and it's hurting. It's causing damage to the donkey because it's too heavy. You have a chiyuv to undo the load. But it says in the pasuk a double lashon. Ozoiv tazoiv imay. Maybe you should say tazoiv imay. What's this ozoiv tazoiv? One word. Says the Gemara. Ozoiv tazoiv imay in the elo balav imay. Maybe it's only mechuyev when the owner is there helping. Shem balav imay. What if you're not getting any help? I'm mechuyev to push your car when you're not around. I'm mechuyev to help you when you're not around. Ozoiv tazoiv imay. Double lashon. What about hakim takim imay? Here, Tina. Wow, she just calls them. It used to be blue. Interesting. Tina is to load up the donkey. Says the Gemara. Hakim takim imay. Ein liela balav imay. Shein balav imay minayin. How do I know I have to load up the donkey? Tamaloi my hakim takim mikol makim. So, you see, this is where you see this idea that if your friend's car breaks down, you have to help him. And if the friend decides that he wants to be in the driver's seat in the nice warm business, snowing outside, and so be it. You have to help him. You have the chiyuv hakim takim. It's a double lashon. You have to help. Why do I have to say 2 psukim? One about loading and unloading. We have 2 things going on. First of all, the animal's in a lot of pain. Second of all, the animal's gonna lose something. It's gonna lose. That's it. It can only stand that for so long. For the rest of its life, it's gonna have a limp or so. Who knows what? Right now, it doesn't have any tzar b'chaim. And there's no loss of money, monetary loss. Maybe you don't have to help. Oh, so Gemara says there's 2 halachas here. When you load up an animal, you can demand payment. When you're unloading the animal, you cannot demand payment. So I would think you're not mechuyev to do something for free. Tzricha, you are mechuyev. Says the Gemara, according to Reb Shimon, it says there's no difference between Tina and Prika. Both are free. So then what's the chiddush? Reb Shimon lo misami mikro. If you look at these psukim, here's Tina. Does it say anything about putting a load on an animal here? Hakim takim imay. Prika. Does it say anything about Prika? No, maybe it's Tina. So because I don't know what it is, the Gemara says it must be. That's why I need 2 psukim. Because otherwise, I'm going to say if there's only one pasuk, I would say it's talking about prika, unloading. That's the most logical thing. You see an animal suffering, unload. How would I know they have to load an animal? it's not mashma in this pasuk that's talking about loading. Pasuk dalet. Maybe I need two psukim, and automatically one will be for tina, one will be for prika. Says isn't it the same concept and idea that I'm helping out another Jew? He's losing money. I found his cow grazing in a vineyard. I'm going to take it back. So the donkey is losing money also. You're losing money here. I have to help him out. Says the Gemara, why do I need this? The owner has a tzar. The animal is suffering. Interesting. Today, this morning, in New York, in JFK, my wife left her phone in the Uber. You should have seen the tsar. And the first thing I went through my mind is, how am I going to communicate with my kids? Like, how my kids are going to call me for Shabbos? I was like, and the problem is that she ordered the Uber. So we can't even get back to the Uber that she ordered because the phone, she's going crazy. So I called the phone and nothing. And we started going, first we went through security and she's ice match, her whole life. How do you function without going like, you know what I'm saying? It's like Shabbos on a Friday. It's not your volume. It's a new one. I never. Anyway, Baruch Hashem, the guy actually, my son, my third year.
Thing that you could do. That you could get it. It's allowed like an emergency. My daughter did it. I left it in a taxi. Before Shabbos in DC. I was like.
So what do you do?
Your young kids will tell you there's a blast, and it'll like emergency blast.
But how do you get to that blast if you don't have a phone?
The guy will pick it up.
But if you don't have a phone, how do you get to that blast?
You gotta call your phone. You can send.
I could blast your phone.
You can blast an iPhone.
But
the kids
Don't tell everybody.
The kids will find it. The cab driver will.
Don't do it during cheer.
Yeah.
Anyway, the bottom line is my kid tried reaching my wife as usual, 20 times a day, and the guy picked up. And he said, he started saying, I'm already in Brooklyn, but I'll bring you back, no problem. Give me $100 and everything. He said, we got the phone back. But I told my wife, I said, I'm mamish learning the sugya right now. I showed her. So I'm aveda the tzar the mori issa. So baya, no, because now she went to her mother's house. I couldn't commute. She doesn't have her phone. It's still in New York. But we're going back on Sunday. So Beis Hashem, she'll be reunited. But until then, it's going to be a big problem. She can't order food. She can't nothing. Her whole life is. Anyway, huh?
You have a phone.
Yeah. How does that help her?
He doesn't share.
No, L'mashal, I'm trying to prepare shir. I only had an hour and a few minutes to prepare. But my computer didn't have the Wi-Fi. I don't know the Wi-Fi. So now I have to call my wife. But she's in this. I had to walk over to where she was, get a Wi-Fi, like in the olden days, Ner Tamid. Go to the payphone, find out what the Wi-Fi number is. So when you lose something, who has the pain? The human being, not the phone. The phone couldn't care less if it's lost or not. So maybe you don't have to return it. Maybe when there's a double loss, you have to return it. When the animal's in suffering, in agony, and the owner is in suffering, fine. Then I understand. You have to be nice. But if there's only one suffering, maybe not. Interesting. When you have a lost object, you have to give it back. Because, by the way, we're Daf Yomi. You know what that means? 30 daffim into Bava Metzia. But these two, the owner is there. Why should I help somebody? Why should I help somebody when he's there himself? Let him help himself. But the truth is, loading an animal with two people is a lot different. For the animal, it feels better for the animal. Everything's different, so you help him out. The turning of the daf is sponsored by Ner Tamid of Baltimore in honor of Fishel and Simcha Gross. Simcha is I just met him. Maybe I met him before once, I don't know. But he's the chef over there. And he came up with this idea that 137 people can learn Torah. It's unbelievable. I said it yesterday, I say it again. For those of you who didn't hear, Ner Tamid is a shul, interesting shul, has all sorts of yidden over there. But many of them weren't really into learning. And as I said yesterday, he said Chazar is good. The Rav said that he was very brave, and he said by on Yom Kippur, he's going to try to get the shul to learn 5 minutes of Torah. Each person 5 minutes of Torah. And he thought he was crazy. And to see that 137 people were learning over an hour a day, and they were talking about the daf on their spare time, and they were saying, isn't it interesting? So one of the questions I remember that they were discussing, because I brought up in shir, is like, if you have a full elevator and the final guy comes into the elevator, who's Chaya? Is it the final guy? Is the guy that pushes the button? And they were discussing it. It was a thing. You have brilliant people there, lawyers, doctors, this, that, schmoozing about. So 137 people learned 16,000 daffim Gemara over 727,000 minutes of Torah on the inside Bava Kama. It was a tremendous thing. So, just for that, it was kedai to go to Baltimore, see those clever, see the kids. There was a kid there, I said it yesterday also, there's a kid, a 15-year-old boy, not from Ner Tamid, but like a modern kind of kid. He learned 500 daf Gemara, 500, it's unbelievable. Says the Gemara. Where are we? On top of Amud Aleph Amud Beis. Mois Yumas Hamak. We're continuing. This is Gishmak. It's very Gishmak because we're talking about different sugyas here. We're talking about a Ritzeach, a killer. He must die. Die, he shall die. Why a double lashon? Die. Mois Yumas. Eli Allah b'misak suva by. The Torah says he should die with a sword. Minayin shemata yochel ha'amisa b'misa aksuva boy shater shoy la'amisa b'chol misa shater yochel ha'amisa. Minayin she'im iyata yochel ha'amisa b'misa aksuva boy. If you cannot kill him with cherev, why? He ran away. He's on a boat. How do you know he let it drown him? Says Rashi. How do you know he let us shoot at him? Says Rashi. He talks about shooting. Shoot an arrow at him. Today we have guns. Kill him. You're allowed to kill him with a gun. Tamad loimar mois yumas mikol mokum. You shall die in any way. Says the Gemara. Where are we holding here? 42 minutes. Okay. Haki sake. This is talking about irani dachas. I don't have that one. Okay. Irani dachas is. Oh, did I show? Was the screen even on? No, it wasn't. Okay. So. Hakisaki is talking about a complete city, ripe city. 51% do have a desire. Hakisaki killed them. Also, I think it's cheref. You can't kill them with the cheref. Poison them. Whatever you want to do. Here we go. Another pasuk. So this is very interesting. What's the halacha? If I asked you, what's the halacha of a mashkin by a malvin alayva? Anybody know? Anybody can tell me? Beautiful. But what's the story? What happened? Tell me the whole story from the beginning.
The malvin wants the alayva wants $1 million.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have $1 million for that. So malvin say, I see you have
very nice. But does he take the mashkin on day one, or he takes the mashkin when he's supposed to return the alayva, the halva?
Day one.
So I believe it's talking about when he has to return. But very good. When he has to return the halva, somebody borrows money and he has to return the loan and he doesn't have what to return. So then you go to Bezdin and they give you something of his. Hashiv Tashiv, you should give it back to him. Hashiv Tashiv, when he took his PJs, give him back his PJs, his night garment. He could use his pajamas. Fine. How do you know you didn't have permission from Bezdin? How do you know you have to give it back? Anytime, any way, you have to give it back. You shall also, same, we're talking about a malvin alayva. You have to give it back. What do I need? Chaval tachbol and hoshiv tashim. We're talking about a morning garment and an evening garment. You should give. You should open up. I plan on going to a famous gvir here in Chicago, and he's going to tell me. I know what he's going to tell me. He says, I have to give to YTT. I support YTT. I only give in the city. We say, oh, we learned today. So tiftach. What am I talking about? You know exactly.
We know. Our buddy.
Vasoyach tiftach. What do you mean? You know what? I don't have a phone. You, do me a favor. Take a picture of. It's also this is also for the city. Take a video. Take a video. Start from over here. I'm going to say. Tell me when to go. Ready?
Go.
So we're learning here. We're in the middle of a shir, and there's certain gvirim of the city here in Chicago. You say, I only support local Moses. You can't give to anything else. I don't know. Gemara over here says, Amud Beis, Erev Shabbos Kodesh. It says, you should give all aniyim. Now, it could be it has Gdima. But here, I want to show you, take a video. MDY happens to be Chicago also. No? It's pretty much Chicago. You guys, Chicago. It's Erev Shabbos Kodesh. Look at the clock over there. 3:12 in the afternoon. And we have a nice Tzibur here from Chicago. So it's not just, MDY is not an out-of-town organization. It's an every-town organization. B'seidah, Yishkoya. Nothing Titeng. Eli Elo Matana Meruba. Matana Mueta has been, send that to me. You have my phone number? He's not going to like it.
No, he's not.
If he sees me, he'll definitely like it.
You're his friend? You say?
Florida. I found him in Florida.
I don't know if we're talking about the same person.
All right. No.
No.
Oh, good.
No. Hanik Tanik. When you have a slave, you have not a slave. You have an Eved Ivri, a Jewish slave. When he leaves, you give him gifts. Hanik Tanik. Also, a double lashon. Here. Oh, I saw a very good shot here. I forgot who it was. I forgot who says it though. Leimor Pasoyach Tiftach. You see, Reb Zalman, take a look over here. This is a chiyuv. The Torah. There's two psukim here. Two psukim that say the same exact thing. So Leimor Pasoyach Tiftach. You want to say? I forgot who it was. Somebody famous. That it's to tell you have a mitzvah to convince other people to give money. You hear that? It's not about you, Pasoyach Tiftach. Leimor Pasoyach Tiftach. You get a bigger mitzvah. What's the lashon? I don't remember the lashon. To get somebody to do it, to have somebody do a mitzvah, you get more of a mitzvah than you yourself giving the tzedakah. It says, how do you know? Okay, so I can't afford. I can't give a $10,000 check. So give $1. Don't say all or nothing. Give a small. How do you know you're mechuyev to give a small amount? Again, another double lashon. Maybe only if you see a special bracha since that Eved Ivri came to your house to work. All of a sudden you see things are going well. What if things are the opposite? They're not going so well. How do you know you should give him gifts? According to Elazar ben Azariah. According to Elazar ben Azariah, that says that if the house was Nizbarach, had a bracha because of this Eved Ivri, then you give him gifts. If there is no bracha because of him or since him, ein manikim, he says you actually don't have to give him gifts. Tanik lamu. Why does the Torah say the extra word? So I had a l'chvoidchem, l'chvoid the chaver in Chicago. I had a machshava here that there's two types of slaves. One is a slave of his gashmias. You're a slave to your parnasa. You work 24/7. You're a slave. That's him. You're a slave. You work for somebody else, and he pays you every day, and you don't have a say really. You're a slave. And then there's a slave to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I know Abdu the Kutra Birichu. I'm a slave to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What does it mean? It means that you're locked in. It's a new way of thinking of slave today. You're locked in. sometimes when you want to do something that's fun, you have to go to chasana, you have to go, I don't know what, but you can't because you have to go to the daf. You have to. You're a slave. You owe somebody else something. You can't just do what you want. Oh, so then you have this Baruch Habayis Beglaloi. You see over and over. I said this. Say it again because I'm carrying this letter with me. This is Benny. I'll show it to you. I'm not going to show you what it says here, but I'll just show you why I'm carrying it with me because he gave me a letter to read on the plane. You know, the kids give you a letter and. It was mavayish me because I started crying like a baby on the plane. Here it is. 3-page letter. Handwritten. And he says that this Baruch Habayis Beglaloi, that since he started doing the daf, everything changed. His whole mishpacha, the whole attitude of Chashivas HaTorah. Now his kids want to learn, his kids want to marry learners, not that the age, but the machshavit, they see the father learning, all of a sudden, everything, the wife appreciates it. She's more mechaber her husband. The kids are more mechaber the father. It's his Baruch Habayis Beglaloi. So there's a house that's his Baruch Habayis Beglaloi. That's the person that's a slave to Torah, and there's one that's not in his Baruch Habayis Beglaloi. So the Gemara Dibra Torah Koloshim Bnei Adam. So why do you need the extra lashon? So now we're going to use the same text that we had before. You know what? Sometimes the Torah, not all these cases. We brought 9 cases, however many cases. Some of them we have a good brush for. When we're stuck and we don't have a good brush, we're going to use this. You know what? Sometimes the Torah talks like human beings. They use the double lashon. Hanik tanik. Tavitanu. That's a chiyuv to lend money to the poor. Ainli elo shein loy v'neroz l'sparnas. That's only if a person doesn't have money, but he's worried to take money from somebody else. Yeah, there's people like that. They don't have money and they're embarrassed, embarrassed to take from somebody else. So there's a ma'isa about Rabbi Chaya. I forgot how to pronounce his name. Zichovich or something like that. I don't know. Fine. A Rebbe. He had a bunch of guests coming over for Shabbos. He said, "Listen, I don't have money. I need to charge you for the meal. Is that okay if I charge you for whatever?" So he said, "Fine." Then they ate, they drank the whole zach. And after Shabbos, he tells them, "Okay, zechus, I don't want money." So why do you tell us it costs money? Because I want you to enjoy every minute. Figured if I was giving you good wine, good meat, you start being worried. I want you to feel good. You're paying me. Drink and eat as much as you want. Now you felt like you deserve it. And now, because there are people that they feel bad. They feel bad taking. So to give them a good feeling of, I don't know if it works for everybody, because I think sometimes they'll have, my guests would feel like, what, you took money from me for Shabbos? It's disgusting. The whole Shabbos, they have a bad feeling about it. But okay. Zok the Gemara. Ula Reb Shimon, right? Your guest wouldn't like that. Did I skip that? No. Let's go back. Pretend that you're giving him a loan. But if he has money, but he doesn't want to use his money, you still have to give him a loan. That's interesting. Now we have to look into it. The guy has money and doesn't want to use his own money, you're going to give him a loan. If he has money, but he doesn't want to use it, we don't take care of it. So what do you do with the extra word? And we're just going to do these 2 lines here. If a person cost him, let's say he's a doctor, he makes a sella an hour, and it cost him an hour of his life to return the lost object. Give me a sella. He only pays him like a word. Says Gemara, so what's the problem? He gives him like something that's not working. Says Gemara, Mike boil bottle. At the end of the day, he's not a guy that's not working. He is working. He's working to return the bike. So why are you treating him like a guy that's not working? You're giving him whatever a guy that doesn't work. I don't know what that means. The guy doesn't work. Guy sitting at home, whatever they pay you, whatever the government pays, $5 an hour. Why are you paying him $5 an hour? He deserves $10 an hour because he returned the bike. No. It's not the $5 an hour. You ask a doctor, how much money would you want not to go to work today? To sit back. I'm going to give you money if you don't go to work. He makes $1,000 an hour. They'll tell you, listen, for $100 an hour, I make a little money, but I can relax. I'll take the $100. Oh, that's how much you have to pay him. Rabbi Sai, have a gewaldige evening, a gewaldige Shabbos, a gewaldige week, wherever you are, because this is going to be shown on Motzei Shabbos, Be'ez Hashem. So have a great week. We'll see you, Be'ez Hashem, Motzei Shabbos over here, live at 9:30 Chicago time.